It's Big Mouthy.
All right, how's it going? Well, my name is Sean Finnerty. I'm a stand-up comedian from Ireland originally, living over in the United States now.
Amazing. So let's talk about your journey. When did it start? What was the first joke you ever told?
First joke I ever told? Well, first time I ever got on stage was almost 13 years ago.
Nice.
Yeah, I had moved to Orlando from New York, not by choice. I was on a road trip and my van broke down there. And I'd wanted to try stand-up for years, and then I got randomly introduced to this guy who was also a stand-up, and I said, you know what, let me give this a go. And I got on stage at a smoky dive bar in front of 3 audience members and did, I guess you could call it a joke. I did something up there.
So where did your passion for comedy start? You know, have you always just been naturally funny, or is it something you had to work really hard to convey to the audience, or
I would say, weirdly enough, I would say both.
Okay.
Like, comedy is interesting because, like, what makes you funny, the tough part is being what makes you funny on stage, you know? So, like, I think everyone has the capacity to have a sense of humor. I've always thought I was pretty funny, but I had, like, a very Irish sense of humor, and the big struggle I found was I started comedy in America, and some of the stuff I was doing early on, I was like, I know this is funny.
Yeah.
But I'm not getting the reaction I feel like it deserves. And some of those stories I've told since I've gone back to do in Ireland, and I've been like, this is what I was expecting. So there is like cultural differences in some of the humor in that. But yeah, I think it's something that I always wanted to do. But growing up in Ireland, I saw like 3 or 4 comedians on TV. I was like, how do you do this? No, I think there's just those 4 guys and that's it. Like, it's not something you can just do.
Yeah.
And then when I moved to America, it was always on my mind. And when I got to America, I got exposed to like the open mic scene and doing like, getting on stage and just running material and really gaining confidence is what the first couple of years is about. Just getting comfortable up there, you know?
Yeah. Okay, so, when you moved to America, how do you think, your childhood, I know you said you don't have any kids there, but how do you think like living in America differs from living in Ireland? Like, what's the biggest kind of differences?
The differences between Ireland and America. Oh God, I could probably talk all day about that. Ireland is a lot more. It's a lot more low key. Like, I would say, it's very friendly.
Okay.
Like, if you're walking down the street in Ireland, you wave at someone in case you know them. You know that kind of way. Like a small town in Ireland, you go, because if it turns out you do know them and you didn't wave, you'd be worried to be talking about you. You know? Yeah, it's a very friendly place. I think America is a lot more, the capitalist side of it makes it a lot more like driven and kind of almost a competitive nature.
That makes
whereas
sense.
Ireland feels a lot more like stopping to ask you about your day. You know, that kind of way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And actually being interested in the answer.
Yeah.
Not just going, how are you? Okay, I don't want to hear your life story. Calm down. Keep that to yourself, you know? No, so yes, I would say that's the main difference I've noticed.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And it just, when we were seeing the show just a few minutes ago, you just seemed very comfortable up there.
Yeah.
Do you think there was a moment in your comedy career where you felt like, okay, it clicks now, I understand like what I have to do to get this reaction?
Yeah, I would say I came not too early, but pretty early on. I remember being 9 months in, and I got a job. I got a gig as house MC of a comedy club in Cocoa Beach, Florida.
Okay.
And I remember when I started that gig, I was house MC there for a year and a half. When I first started there, I remember being like nervous about the idea of hecklers or crowd interaction. And then I found out, I got the job, I found out I had to do 20 minutes every week.
Okay.
And that place had a lot of customers that would come back again, repeat customers. So I was like, I was writing new material, but I was like, I can't just keep doing the same mostly 20 minutes to these people all the time.
Right.
And so I started using crowd interaction as a way to like make the show different every time, and then I'd be throwing in new jokes as well. But at least if someone came to the club at the start of the month and again at the end of the month, they would get 2 different experiences. And then through practice, I became very comfortable with the interaction. And because I mean, you saw just there, it can go off the rails.
Yes.
And that's fun. As long as you're enjoying it and you can convey that to the crowd, it's never really too crazy. You know, it's always just fun.
Yeah.
And an opportunity to explore somewhere, another weird direction for a show to go in.
Makes sense. Yeah, on stage you were saying, some comedians don't like hecklers, but you said you seem to embrace the heckler and even form your show from that point on. It could.
I'd much rather a lively, energetic, fun crowd. And if they're gonna heckle here and there, let them heckle. That's a chance to experience something. I'd rather that than a crowd that's just like, kind of dead. And not really. Even when you go to like talk to them, they don't even want to respond. You know. And it's not like, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's times where you just want to go up there and do your act and do your material. But even still, I feel like a fun crowd who's like vibrating and willing to interact, and I do enjoy that, for sure.
That makes sense. So where are some of the coolest places you've had the chance to perform?
Oh, let me see. The coolest places, I did a music festival in Ireland that's like 60,000 people camping.
Nice. Yeah.
So I did that. That was really cool. It's called Electric Picnic. I did, obviously, the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. That was awesome. I got to do, I've done the Comedy Cellar in New York City and the Comedy Store in LA. Yeah. Those were both really cool. And the Friars Club in New York as well. Oh. That was another fun experience. I'm sure I'm missing some, but those were some examples of ones that I had a really good time at.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about the Tonight Show. How was the process like? Auditioning and then getting on it. How did you feel?
Yeah. So I did. It's funny because my first audition was a 2-minute audition.
Oh wow.
For a thing called Stand Up NBC. Yeah. I basically flew from New York to Houston for a 2-minute audition.
2-minute audition.
Yeah. And I did it, and it went well. And then they moved me on to a 7-minute, like it was a competition. They moved me on to the semi-final the following night, and I got to do 7 minutes in front of the booker for the Tonight Show. Yeah. I jumped on a flight back to New York, and I had a message from the booker for the Tonight Show going, "Hey, we're doing a Tonight Show audition in 3 days. If you want to do it." And I go, "Why would I not want to do that?" Yeah, I'm living in New York, trying to make it as a comedian. I'll take it.
Yes. Yeah. So you got to fly back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and the host of that is a guy who has hosted Daily Show as well. His name is Roy Wood Jr. Okay. Great comic, loved it. So I got to meet him, and it was really cool. I had a great time.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Who are some of the comedians that you look up to? Either when you first starting or now. Some inspiration for you.
When I first started, it was different. When I first started watching comedy, it was different because I was watching in Ireland. So I was a big fan of there was a Scottish guy by the name of Billy Connolly, a masterful storyteller. I was a big fan of. I was also a fan of a guy named Tommy Tiernan, an Irish guy. Okay. It was fantastic. And then what my first exposure to, we'll say, American comedy was, funny enough, was Dave Chappelle. Oh, okay. Yeah. His Killing Him Softly special from I think around 2000 or that. And I just thought, this lad is nuts. Yes. This is great. Yeah, so it was Chappelle. And then from there, I think Bill Burr was my next one. And I've been a massive Bill Burr fan ever since. Nice. Also, Jim Jeffries, an Australian guy, was another guy that I've always enjoyed. Nice. Yeah, so those were kind of my earlier.
For sure. Yeah. Okay, and so have you ever had a joke that once you said it, you knew it was bad, the audience didn't react? Have you ever had those type of moments?
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, yeah. 1,000 times. Sometimes you just, you make a judgment call and you go, well, that wasn't the right one. Or sometimes you misspeak. You can even misspeak and something can be interpreted wrong. To name one interaction, but all I can say is with time, you get more comfortable. Okay. So you might make it. It's very rare now that a situation would come up that I'd be like, well, there's no recovering from this. Yeah. So even today, you saw I was chatting to a lady for 5 minutes before I realized she was blind, and that somehow added to the show, not made people uncomfortable. So true. So I would say, I've gotten to the point now where it just. You soldier on, the brain keeps ticking, and you figure out a way to navigate, and you go. But
that makes sense. Yeah. So one thing I've always been interested in, watch comedians is, do comedians write their material? Do they just have a set bullet points and then they just kind of form the jokes as on the spot, or what is it for you?
I would say both. I'd say you write all your material. Comedians Unless, I mean, there are a couple examples of comedians who don't like.
Yeah.
But those are acts who've gotten so big that they almost don't have the time. Like I've heard, like, you know, Kevin Hart will travel with a couple of writers. And they'll give them ideas and they'll go up and try them out. But yeah, most comedians write their own material, and but there's a certain amount of it that almost has to be worked out on stage.
That makes sense.
You know, we're not robots. You can't just like write a script and go up and recite it. You have to iron out the quirks, the little bits and pieces of it to really like polish it off, you know. So yeah. So I would say writing, trying it out is the process, you know.
Okay, and the last question, what advice do you have for aspiring comedians out there, no matter what age, wherever they're at in life?
No matter what age, wherever they're at in life, I would say if you want to do it, don't wait. That's the advice I would give, because I got a degree in finance, and I got out of college at 21, and I went straight into working in a bar. So finance degree, bartender, and 2 years later I started stand-up comedy. Started at 23 years of age. And I don't think I've ever met someone who says, I wish I started later in life. So if you want to give it a go, just get up there and do it. And don't worry about how it's going the first couple of years. Really, if you really want this, just give it a go, do it, and just work on getting comfortable and enjoying the process, because every part of this can be a blessing. The early days when you're not getting paid, but you're workshopping and trying out new bits, and you're also like you're embracing like a comedy scene, like no matter where you live, there's a scene, there's other people getting on stage. Some of those people will go on to great things, and you know, then some will stop, of course, not like everything, but so just enjoy the process and go and do it if you really want to give it a go. Okay, perfect. And where can they find you at? Your website, social media, all that stuff? Yeah, I got Instagram, Sean Finnerty, SeanyFinnerty. I got all the socials. My TikTok is the same, Facebook, YouTube, all that stuff. Sean Finnerty is, perfect, on all social media. So where's your next stop after the Virgin Cruise? What's the next show for you? Next show after this, I got, what do I got? You know what? Let me check my calendar. I'm not even sure. I do a local show right after I get off here. I do a local show in Orlando, Florida. Okay. And then I think it's mostly cruise ships for the summer after that. Nice. Oh, and then I'm doing a show in August. I'm doing Melbourne, Florida, a place called Moon Room. Oh, that's really cool. Yeah. Okay. So, well, they can check you out there. We appreciate you, Sean. It's been a pleasure. You, man. Absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on. Nice chatting to you, man. You as well. Cheers.
It's Big Mouthy.